G'day, welcome back. I'd especially like to welcome my new subscribers, and I hope you enjoy the content of my channel. If you missed my last video, the upgrades to my little Shepak bandsaw, there's a link up there now. You can watch that first, then come back and watch this one. Now before I get on with this, I just want to say that the sticker, this Mark Presling sticker that he posted 4 months ago, unbelievably, showed up here today. And he's also included this one here, which is Cutting Edge Engineering, which is another Aussie guy. He's it's just south of Brisbane, where I come from. Does all big heavy stuff, you know, mining equipment and hydraulic cylinders, all that sort of gear. I think he's got a very large following. It's in the hundreds of thousands, so I doubt many of you have not watched his videos. But if you haven't, go and have a look. One of the best welders I've ever seen. Does some really awesome lathe work and milling work, and he's not actually, from what I understand, a tradesman. He was a TA that has just moved on and gone out on his own. But he's a clever guy, well worth a look. Now, as I suggested, I'm going to make a Webster engine. You want to watch me? Welcome aboard. Follow me along. I'm going to do it. But anyway. Mark Presling will be happy. I'm going to show you something in a minute when we head over to the bench. So let's go over to the bench over there, and we'll see what I've been gathering over the last few weeks to get started on this. Alrighty, so once I decided I was definitely going to do this, I started hunting around to try and find everything I need. I had to order this big lump of aluminium plate out of China because I couldn't find anyone here that could supply me a piece wide enough, but that showed up a couple of days ago. There are 2 gears in a Webster engine, which I can't make because I don't have the gear to do it, so I've piked out and I bought 2 out of China. Not the best quality gears in the world, but they will hopefully do the job. So I've got them. I've even managed to find, it was cheap as chips, an ignition coil for it when I get that right towards the end. Got a lump of brass tube to make the little exhaust pipes and stuff out of. Now, my good mate up in Bangkok, and I was really lucky because he's been overseas working in Dubai for a while, and he just happened to be home for a couple of weeks. I got hold of him and I said, look, I tracked down a supplier of cast iron in Bangkok because I had remembered way back when I was making the rotary table, one of my viewers from here in Thailand had suggested that if I searched, God, they're still working on that damn house up there. If I searched with a particular Thai text, I would find some cast iron suppliers, and I tracked one down. But anyway, I sent them an email and they never responded, which is what they have a tendency to do here. If you send them a message in English, they just don't bother to answer you. So he got hold of them, and because he speaks fluent Thai and can read and write Thai, he sent him an email, got an answer back, and I have a lump of cast iron, make my cylinder out of. It's hollow. I can't see anywhere in the drawings what size it's supposed to be, but I took a punt on 1.5 inches. Now unfortunately this is a little over 1.5 inches that way. It's a bit oval, but a little bit under 1.5 inches that way, but that's almost exactly 3/4, and it's pretty central. So I'm hoping I get the cylinder out of that okay. Now he's the same guy I actually got all that scrap aluminium off that I've been using to make castings with, and I mentioned to him and it was just about all gone. He said I'll have a rake through what I got in my little bin at home and I'll see what I can bring you down. Well, he came down with this great lump of steel, and I thought, Jesus Christ, hang on a sec. It actually looked like that, and I'll put up a bit of video when I'm done here about cutting that off. I put it in the saw and cut it off, and it's just that thick, it's not funny. I've had it in the mill trying to just clean this up a little bit because I want to put it in the lathe and try and turn it a bit around and then maybe cut it in half. But that'll make a flywheel out of that. It's big enough. I gave me these 2 bits of aluminium, and I'm hoping I can get 1 or 2 of the bits that I need out of that. I haven't checked yet. He also gave me this bit, so I might be able to get something out of that. So that's where I'm at. I think I'll get started on the base first, and then look at see if I can get the parts I want to get out of these bits to make up next. Anyway, we'll get on with it and see how we go. I would never have been able to, still cutting crooked, would never have been able to cut something like that in here before making those modifications to this. But yeah, really happy with the way it's come out. Alrighty, I know I said I was going to get into that base plate first, but I couldn't get this bit of stuff out of my head last night while I was trying to get to sleep, and just how wonky it is and how I was going to turn it or machine it round. Now, as you can see by that, that's pretty gross. Actually, I'll just fire this up and let it run very slowly. You can see what it looks like. It's pretty damn wonky. Now, as far from memory, I've only got to get a 70mm or 75mm round flywheel out of this, and at the moment the narrowest part across there is 80mm. So I'm kind of hoping that like even across there it's 90mm. So I'm pretty sure I can get it out of it. But I'm not going to make you suffer through cleaning that up. Once, what I want to do is get it cleaned up back to about here somewhere, and then turn it around, put it back in, so I can be more confident about how I got hold of it. But I will center drill it and put the life center up in there to make sure it stays there. It doesn't throw it at me, because that's a pretty heavy chunk of steel. So I'll get into that, and once I've got this sorted out a bit more, I'll come back to you. Is that the same piece of ugly I started with? I don't know what this bit of scrap binium is, but it certainly turns up nicely. I've got a couple little tiny bits left here, but I think, I haven't measured it yet, but I think that should be 80mm or thereabouts, bang on probably. Certainly within a couple of hundredths. Yeah, like I said, within a couple of hundredths. Alrighty, so it's actually shopping day today. Should have been yesterday, but my wife was unavailable to go shopping, so it's also bar day. So I won't be getting too much more done today. Alright, so that's it for this part, and we'll get on with some more tomorrow. Alrighty, just as well, those last 3 videos I made didn't take me all that long, and I got a little bit ahead because I haven't done anything for 4 days. I've been feeling like death warmed up after my daughter gave me a dose of bronchitis. Hacking up a lung every day for 3-4 days. I did come out of here late this afternoon and do this. That came out of this piece here, and I've machined it up. So it's makes the cylinder head over the back there. This bit arrived yesterday. It makes up a piece that goes here, and this bit. Now they are 3/8 and 9.5mm is what they're measuring. They have to be thinned out to 5/16. They're the right height, unfortunately, so exactly what the drawing says. So I can't clean these edges up, but I did, before I cut it up, I did run a file up it just to get the burrs and stuff off it. So this one needs to be cut down here a bit, I think, from memory. And this one has a bit cut off it as well, but anyway, they need to be thinned out. This is a little bit thicker than it's supposed to be. That's 10mm, I think they quoted as a piece of 3/8, but I'm not going to thin that out. It needs to have an inch taken off the side of it though. And it's still got plastic on it, so I don't think I need to machine the surface at all. Now, damn shame about this piece. I mean, that was coming up so nicely until I realised it was too bloody small. But anyway, this piece just arrived like a couple of minutes ago. Ordered from the same place this came from, literally on the same day, arrived 2 days apart. Crazy. Anyway, I want to cut a bit off this before I start machining it up. That's why I haven't cut this one yet, because I want to cut that one in the saw in its horizontal setup. Then I'll have to break it down, hang it on the wall, cut this piece off in the vertical setup. Anyway, very late in the afternoon. In fact, it's damn near beer o'clock. After 3 attempts to buy 2.5mm or M2.5 taps out of China, finally I got a pair. They arrived yesterday, the day before as well, and some spare screws, so if I drop one now I won't have to worry about trying to find a bloody thing. But anyway, that's it, so maybe until tomorrow. Alrighty, this little bit really belongs in my bandsaw modification video, but too late for that. So I set this all up, and I didn't video it all, but I did take some stills. And I'll sort of run through them here while I'm talking. You'll see just how little I had hold of this boy. I mean, it was truly just hanging on by the, the 5mm on the back jaw. But I did set up a stop so that it wouldn't move. I couldn't move sideways, and it did cut a little crooked. But through a 100mm piece, I think it's 100mm. I measured it. That's what I ordered, because they had 105 and 100. No, that's 100. Through 100mm, that's actually not too bad. So I can look at that, and I did cut it. They gave me an extra 3mm. I ordered 50mm and I got 53, so a little bit more to play with. But anyway, just sort of show you that. Alrighty, so that's the base plate. I switched the saw over the vertical and cut the bit off the side. Now, all these edges seem like they're been saw cut out of a plate. It's not a piece of extruded flat bar. It is unfortunately 6mm too short this way. You really can't take anything off these ends. But I did cut that a little wide, so I'll clean those burrs off and I'll make a clean up pass on the other sides of the correct width. But I won't bore you with that. Alrighty, now while you guys weren't watching and all through one of the heaviest electrical storms I've ever seen here, which took our internet out nearly 21 hours ago and it hasn't come back, I got in and dressed all these things up to the right size except for that one which is too short. Thinned these out and discovered another issue with the mill while I was doing that, which I'm going to have a look at. And now that I've got the nod right, when I fly cut things like this, it cuts them on an angle, so I've got to check out the vise. The vise might have a slope in it, because I made that probably when the nod was all wrong. Anyway, I'll have to check all that out. I've got it packed up on 0.9 of a millimetre at the moment. These within a couple of hundredths of being the same thickness both sides. So next up's drill and tap a heap of holes. Some just drilled, some drilled and tapped. The base plate. It's supposed to have a piece cut out of here, which I'm not going to do. Got to drill and tap. I'll drill some holes in here, some mounting holes and things. These two plates here mount up on it like this. Oh, it's actually like that way. They have to have holes for the bushes for the crankshaft. Some other holes drilled and countersunk in here, some holes drilled and tapped up in the bottom, and all over the place. So I'll get all that done up next. I don't know if I'll bother to video any of that, because let's face it, drilling and tapping holes is pretty bloody boring. So on with that. Alrighty, so I haven't done anything for a couple of days. I've had to sort out my visa and get permission to stay here for another year from the Thai government. So hopefully that's all sorted, and in 30 days time I'll find out whether I can or not. But anyway, I've spent the morning drilling and tapping all these little holes in here. Got that one there wrong. That was supposed to be an M3, but I drilled and tapped it for M4 because it said tap number 4, so I just, without thinking about it, did it as M4. It should have been M3. I almost cocked it up. I had these the wrong way around, and I was going to drill it up there. But that's just weird, you know. Got these two clamped in here with a bit of paper beside them to make sure I got hold of both of them nice and tight. But I want to drill and ream them at the same time. I'll use that new 12mm reamer I bought a couple of weeks ago. I've never used that, so we'll see how it goes. They're still going it up over those damn jackhammers. It's been weeks now. It's driving me nuts. I wish I'd cut it out. And now we've got dogs barking and cats having a "my dick's bigger than yours" fight. I hate cats. Noisy bloody things. Alrighty, so we'll see if this damn thing cuts a cleaner or better sized holes than those El Cheapo ones I've got. The El Cheapo ones were just a Chinese set. Look at that running around. God. There's not much chance that that's going to cut a clean hole, is it? Oh God, that's even worse. I've got a 12mm1/2" collet. I've just swapped them and hoping one would be better than the other. I just can't believe that. That's just bullshit, that is, isn't it? I'll come back to you. Alrighty, so that 12mm reamer appears to be an even bigger piece of shit than the little cheapo set I had. So that was an 11.5 I put through there, so I'm just going to very, very carefully put a 12mm through there and hope, cross my fingers and hope it goes through nice and on size. Alrighty, so that the drawings actually said to ream that to 1/2 inch, but I'm making a metric version of this. I have these 12mm by 8mm bushes that I bought for the steam engine. I think I'm in love. Rightio, so I'll be able to push them in there. No worries at all. Alright, so I reckon it must be just about lunchtime, so I think I'm going to go and have some lunch. After lunch I might look at knocking this off here and drilling and tapping all the holes that need to be in the base. Alrighty, so that was the last of the holes to the bottom there. These were supposed to be countersunk, these holes, and this one up here. But I've got some of these little M3, 10mm long M3, what I thought I'd use in there, rather than something I don't have that I have to go and buy. This one here is supposed to be countersunk, but I might counterbore that one and put a bolt in there. It takes a, will be a 5mm bolt. I think we've got enough room for a head in there. But we'll see. See what I got in my box, and I can always do that later. This hole here, I've got no idea what that one's for. That one, got no idea at all, or that one out there. But they're on the drawing, so I've put them in there. Alrighty, so all the bolt holes in there line up, so that's a good thing. So next cab off the rank, I guess, will be to make this cut down through here, cut that bit out, and cut that corner off there, and then hop in and machine this bit up, which is the which holds the cylinder head bolts into that. Now, this thing is actually only meant to be about that thick, 20 mil, something like that. But what I did see someone else do was in the top of the cylinder head they machined some cooling fins in it. So I think I'm going to I'll mill a piece out of the side here. Once I've done what I've got to do, I'll keep it nice and square while I make it easy to work with. And once I've done that, cut a piece out of the side here, clean it up, and then cut some cooling fins in the top. Can't remember which goes that way or that way, whichever way it goes. I'll work it out. But anyway, so I'll cut these off next. I won't bother showing you that, but I'll show you once I've done all of that. Alrighty, so I said I did what I was going to do, and I took the vise off and started machining the bottom off, only to see it end up with these like flats that went like that on an angle. So in the end, I got out the dial gauge and set the knot on this the traditional way with you know, measurement here and here either side of the table, and then got a nice clean cut on the bottom of that. But now I'm right back to not being able to centre things. I just marked that with the vernier so I know where the centre is. Set it up with you know, with the little wobbly centre gauge, and that's a good, I don't know, 0.2 or 0.3 off centre that. So I'm just going to try and eyeball a centre, and then drill this all the way through. It won't matter, that'll be the spark plug hole that goes all the way through. It won't matter if it's just half a beesdick off centre, but when I go to bore this in here, I will then be able to measure it from side to side and get it centred properly. So I think that's what I'm going to do. But I won't bore you with setting all this up, and I'll come back to you later. Alrighty, so I drilled that out for the tapping size, or the closest drill I've got for the tapping size for M10x1. And I put a 16mm end mill down in there to just short of the correct depth. Now I've got a 20mm end mill in here, and I'm going to go down to the correct depth with that, or almost. I might leave the correct depth. No, I'll go all the way to the correct depth with this, because then I have to bore it out to 25.4 or 1 inch. Correct depth's actually ½ inch, 12.7. Alrighty, that's it for the time being. It's lunchtime, so I'm going to have some lunch, and after lunch I'll get out the boring head and we'll bore this out to 1 inch, 25.4. Alrighty, so I think I've actually got this pretty centered now, but I'm going to make one cut with the boring head and then remeasure it just to make sure, because the end mills may have, you know, wobble around a bit. Get it away some more. We've got 7.756, somewhere in there, 7.86, so let's go that way, 0.05, not that I think it matters much. Alright, I'm going to leave it at that. I think I'll change that tip. I'm not going to bore you with this, it'll take a while to bore that out to inch, I think. Yeah, we've got a bit to go yet, a couple of millimetres yet. So I'll bring you back when you get closer. God, I nearly stuffed it up, nearly overshot it. For some reason I had 25.7 in my head, not 25.4. So now I've only got, well at the moment it's 25.3. So I've got to go to 25.4, so 5 hundredths. That's all we've got to go. So give it a go at that. Bang on. Yo, wheat ripper. Luckily my 25mm micrometer can go just a bit past the 25mm mark, but that's bang on. Alrighty, so now I've got to get rid of some of the bulk off this thing. Has to have a bit cut out of the side here, and it needs to be thinned out this way. I've got to modify things a bit because the spark plug it says to use, I just can't find one. And it has, from memory, an 8 or an 8.5mm long thread, but I've found a substitute for it which has a 9.5mm long thread, so I'll have to make it just a bit thicker in there where the spark plug screws in, so that it'll stick out too far in the combustion chamber, because that's basically what this is, the combustion chamber. Alrighty, so we'll get on with that. Well, that was all a bit weird, that was. Early on up here, I was getting enormous amounts of burring. And then I discovered about here somewhere that if I flood cooled it, both, so to speak, like I was doing here, I get almost no burr at all. So I started doing that. So what I've done here is, I was going to tap that hole, and I am 100% certain I bought an M10x1 tap, but I'm damned if I can find it, so it looks like I've got to buy another one. And I've counterbored that for the seat for the spark plug. What I'll do now is I'll get the fly cutter back in there. I'll just take a really light pass over and try and knock these burrs off. I still have to cut another piece out of the side here yet, but I was waiting to get all this done first before I did that. Alrighty, so quick run over that with the fly cutter, cleaned up the worst of it, and then a little rub with a little triangular file, got rid of the rest of the burrs. So that's looking groovy. So now I have to cut a piece out of here, 5/16 deep. I'm not going to turn it all in the saw off. I'll cut it out in the saw, but it's just about beer o'clock, so I'm not doing that today. Alrighty, do some more tomorrow. Alrighty, in my haste to get this thing done yesterday afternoon, I neglected to do something that I should have done first, and that was drill 4 holes through there. Now, I was truly hoping that, lying in bed thinking about last night, that these holes would come out in the centres of one of these grooves, but they bloody don't. They come out on the edge of, I think it was this one or this one. This one here, I think, comes out right on the edge of it. Now, they're only a small hole. They're a bit under 3mm, so I think I'll go through at 3. So I'm hoping I can get through all the way through there without snapping the bloody drill off. Now, it's just starting to rain here, but and it's a bit early, so I'll leave it to a little while before I start doing anything on this Sunday morning. But anyway, I'll get this all set up and I'll come back to you. Alrighty, I've decided to go with a 3.2mm tap for clearance size for the bolts, and hopefully just a tad more rigidity. Go down through here and hopefully like hell this drill doesn't snap off as it gets to those bits down the bottom there. How deep I've got to go here? Quite 28mm. So at about 26.5, going to start to break through that hole, I think. Zero that, so know where I'm at. Alright, here goes nothing. Oh yeah, look at that. Don't worry about that. Flip clogging up. Hello. Alrighty, so I got all the way through there without that breaking, so I won't make you sit through the other 3 holes. It takes a while. Come back to you when I got all them done. Alrighty, so I got through all of them without breaking the drill, so I'll get in and countersink them now for the heads of some M3 capsules. Well, I've got to say that went a bit better than I was hoping it would, so well, better than I thought it might actually. But anyway, so that's that part of it done. Can't do much else to this now. I've got to cut that bit out of the side. It does show in the drawing optional to round these corners off, but I'm not sure if I want to do it or not. I'll think about that some more. Anyway, so that's that bit done. Alrighty, so the last bit of machining I have left to do is to machine this pocket in here where this thing sits, where it bolts, this bolts onto this. Beautiful. Alrighty, so that has to have 2 holes drilled and tapped in here, but I think what I'm going to do is fit this back up to the base plate, clamp all this to it, and then use the you know, those long punch things that fit through the hole, I can't think of the name of it, to mark them, and then I'll drill them, set them up, back up in here and drill them. Alrighty, so there we have it. That's not the 2 bolts I'm going to put in there. I'll have to get down the road to the bolt shop and get a couple of little stainless ones that I can recess into here. Bolt it on. There still has to have one more hole drilled and tapped down in here yet to secure that with, but it's starting to look like something now. And I had in my head that this engine was going to be a lot less fiddly than that little steam engine was, but it's not proven that way. Anyway, I don't suppose anyone thought this was all that interesting, to be honest with you, because most of just all this plate work, pretty boring stuff really. Just drilling and tapping holes, shit like that. But anyway, I've spent between 2.5 and 3 weeks on this so far, mainly because, you know, I was crooked for 3 or 4 days, and then I had to spend a couple of days sorting out all my visa crap and wait for different things to arrive, and then, you know, not spending much time out here. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching that, and if you did, make sure you give it a great big thumbs up and smash that like button, because, you know, it kind of helps me out. Alright, so I hadn't ordered that 10mm tap. I went back through my orders and I never did purchase one, so I've ordered one. When it gets here, I'll finish threading that. Between now and when I start the next episode, I'll decide whether I want to round these corners off and do that. Right, anyway, next episode I think we'll get in and we'll make this the cylinder up out of that bit of cast iron. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.